What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, and we bring you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch every single day at This Is After Sound is the username. So come by, say hello. We do giveaways every stream, and we do giveaways every week here on the channel. All you have to do is leave your in-game username in the comments, and I pick out my favorite comments every single week on the weekly Q&A videos. So let's dive into this. We have the Chaos Legion reveal. This was posted in the Mav chat yesterday. So if you're looking for the link, I found a link in the Mav chat. There's also one posted on Reddit. It seems like it's just everywhere. So you can go in, see all of the cards that are coming out. And so we are going to do a deep dive. Now, I wanted to keep this organized. And so I figured just doing a splinter per video. And then actually what this video is we're going to focus on the summoners. And then I'm going to do a deep dive into each of the splinters just because I really want to. I haven't looked at any or many of these cards. I've looked at a couple, so I didn't want to say any, but now it's just like, I want to make sure that we spend a good amount of time for me and then hopefully get some feedback from you guys to see what you guys are thinking. So if you go and find it, this is the Chaos Legion symbol. I guess this is what it looks like. I thought it'd be a nice C, but this is the Chaos Legion symbol. So we're going to roll with it. Oh, there it is at the top of those cards. Makes sense. So I clicked this to filter only the Chaos Legion cards, and as I said, we are going to focus on the summoners, a couple of which we have seen already, but I wanted to kind of see all of them and see how this would really look overall. So we've looked at Tarsa, who has a +1 melee attack and +1 speed. Now, in my video analysis for that, and that was, when we only had Tarsa and Obsidian in that video, this to me somewhat makes Pyre irrelevant. Pyre is great, but I don't know. It's a combination of Pyre and Malric, and you're getting them for only one more mana. So Tarsa to me is huge. Now, just looking generally across the boat here, we see Fire, Death, and Dragon with 2 buffs, right? 2 summoner buffs, and the rest of them, so Water, Earth, and Life with only 1 buff. So I don't know if there was a rebalancing that happened. It felt like Fire was relatively, well, you know what? It felt like Fire was relatively strong, maybe at the higher levels if you had Jotun, but at the lower levels, I can see Fire getting easily outmatched by both Earth and Water specifically in many cases, and probably Life too. So I guess it makes sense that Fire would have this. I always thought the Earth starter deck was pretty good too, but this adds just another element because you will now have Thaddeus Brood and the -1 magic, -1 health in the starter deck, which to me this is anti-water as it gets right here. So this guy, combined with the fact that we will not, well, I guess it's not combined with, but the fact that we no longer will have Undead Priest in, and Undead Priest is the card that reduces all enemy monsters' health by 1, you're going to automatically get that with Thaddeus Brood. So I really like Fire and Death. And again, I haven't looked at the cards within the Splinters, but we're going to do a deep dive and see how those kind of synergize together overall. Now, we talked about Obsidian already. I mean, Obsidian and Earth in general are getting a huge magic upgrade. So this to me makes Jin Bilchka, sorry, I don't know why I said Jilbaka, Jin Bilchka, much more valuable, much more interesting as a rewards card. And I haven't looked at what the other magic cards are in the starter deck for Chaos Legion. But if we look at, well, actually, we'll save that. We'll save that for when we do an Earth deep dive. Now, what are the 3 new ones that we have, at least for this channel? Everybody thought for Water we were going to get a melee attacker or a melee buff, but that went to Fire instead. So now we are seeing a +2 on the a +2 armor. I'm sorry, on the starter card. I don't know how I feel about this, right? Because I feel like Earth is just, I'm sorry, not Earth, but Water is just specializing in this, giving everybody armor. First, you have Lear Deep Swimmer, who is the untamed legendary summoner that has a +2 in one of the summoner buffs that he offers. Then Venari Wavesmith comes along, and now we're getting Kelia Frendul. I don't know. I guess I'll be curious to see how the rest of the cards kind of synergize out. But I always felt like maybe I don't know, maybe there just wasn't enough armor across the water deck. To me, this seems a little redundant. I guess you could pair this with Venari Wavesmith, and all of a sudden all of your monsters are getting +4 armor, which could make things very interesting as an anti-magic approach in whenever those rule sets for weak magic come about. I also suppose you could do it against any other, I mean, really any other splinter at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Earth got a little bit of a shaft here. Sorry, not Earth. Water got a little bit of a shaft. I'm trying to think about the rewards cards as well, since I haven't dove deep into the summoners. So sorry, into the monsters for this. But again, I'm saving that all for another video. For General Sloan, this is the Life Summoner. I like this one a lot. To see a +1 on the ranged attack is pretty cool. And then for Quix the Devious, I really like this one. -1 on the ranged, and then -1 speed. I feel like speed is going to be incredibly important here, especially as we look across the rest of the cards and are starting to see backfire used a lot more, right? So here's one where you can automatically use this with the rewards card, Naga Assassin, and you'll be in a much better spot in terms of potentially having the backfire ability go out there. So sorry, I'm thinking through what else would be great here. So this is, I mean, -1 ranged also helps with any kind of sniping or just any kind of ranged, and then the +1 here. So this is going to change quite a bit. Now, to round out this video, I wanted to also take in the untamed rare summoners so we can kind of see what your options are in the starter deck, right? So for fire, for example, these two, again, this is what I'm saying, like this doesn't synergize well to me. Not in the same way that Malric and Pyre did. Because Tarsa essentially is an upgrade on Pyre and you're only paying 1 more mana for it. So I can't see a situation where I would use Pyre. Again, sorry, the only situation that I could see myself not using not using Tarsa, but using Pyre over Tarsa to save that 1 mana is if it's a non-melee game that I'm forced to use only fire for, or fire is one of the few options. Now with water, we have Bortus and Kelia, so we have a -1 magic attack, and we have a +2 on the armor. So I feel like it's going to be very dependent. Again, I'm so excited about how the game meta is going to change quite a bit, but it's going to be very dependent on how these guys kind of synergize out. But as Magic is no longer, and again, I'm only looking at modern format. So as Magic will no longer have a +1, as Water will no longer have a +1 Magic buff, it looks like Magic in the starter deck is going to be very defensive, right? If you don't own your own, if you don't own the other potential summoners for this, and again, these are the ones you only get in the starter deck, but let's actually just take a look at that, a little preview of what this would be. So if you wanted to play water, here are all your options for the modern format. Again, like Deep Swimmer offers a lot more than Kelia. Bortus is great because it at least addresses magic. Vera, I haven't been able to convince myself on Vera just yet, but maybe flying will be something to pay attention to. Who knows? So let's do this. Okay. Now looking at Earth, I like Earth a lot. Wizards of Eastwood remains an anti kind of Kelia. Well, it was an anti Wavesmith, but now also an anti Kelia situation here. So it's like, I feel like water and earth are just kind of going back and forth with one another. And now Bortus and Obsidian are essentially negating one another. So if you see an earth deck out there that is heavy on magic, you could play water against it. And if you see a water deck that's heavy on using like a Wavesmith or a Kelia, you can go Wizards of Eastwood. So these two, they seem very diametrically opposed, which is really interesting. Okay, so now let's get to life, we have Mother Kala. And I feel like, are we missing something here? We're missing one of the dragons. Okay, well, let me come back to that. So Mother Kala and General Sloan. So again, we're gonna have to see the rest of the life cards that come up, but I like that life is no longer being defensive. I like that life is being offensive by offering a +1 ranged attack. So Mother Kala gives you kind of that defensive strategy. I never, +1 health, of course, can come in handy in a multitude of situations, but I always felt like Tyrus was a little bit better. And then Lorna kind of even potentially a step on top of that, be with the, I forgot what it's called, Divine Shield, right? So Mother Kala, going to be okay, but I feel like there'll be many situations where people are going to go for offense rather than defense. So General Sloan is going to be a nice mix into making offensive life decks that have a multitude of ranged options. Now, maybe this is how it was planned. I don't know, but the Death Summoners, so now are... Well, there's a little bit of cross-pollination here, which I'm liking. But Contessa is obviously the opposite of General Sloan, bringing that -1 ranged debuff to the mix, or at least maintaining it. Now, Thaddeus Brood, it's again, I love how Death is very much debuffs on the opponent's monsters rather than buffs to your own monsters. So now you're going to have the option. We lose the -1 melee attack, but I like Harklaw at, I believe it's level, I guess you have to get to level 3 for Demoralize on Harklaw. And we'll dig deeper into the other starter cards that come through with Chaos Legion. And I guess not just starter cards, because there's going to be several epics and legendaries as well. But since we talked about Thaddeus Brood already, I like the mix here because now instead of going with a -1 melee or -1 ranged, you don't have the melee option anymore, but you do have a -1 magic plus a -1 health. I don't know. To me, in a lot of options, just because magic, it seems to be getting so much more popular or so much more widely used in many cases across all splinters, I think this is a huge, huge win for the Death Splinter to have that -1 on there. So again, I don't know where... I feel like we're... Oh, it's this. I didn't even realize Devious, Quicksa Devious. Is he not going to be a starter card? I guess not. Interesting. Okay. So as of now, until there's a rare summoner dropped for, until there's a rare summoner dropped, Quicksa... Actually, yeah, there's no way that Quicksa Devious is going to be part of the starter cards. Okay, so Quicksa Devious is going to be an interesting one since they are a legendary summoner for 4 mana. This, to me, I guess if we're going to do a comparison on it, again, it's not going to be a starter card comparison, but let's go ahead and take a look at Dragon and Untamed Dice. Yeah, Untamed and Dice. So these will be all the dragon summoners that we have. It feels as though Drake is going to remain there. Obviously, Brighton, Camilla, and Byzantine Kitty will not be in the starter deck, so you'll have to actually grab one of those. And now Quicks is going to be added in. So we'll have to see what the I guess it's going to be a dragon airdrop. I believe that's what Drake was in the last Untamed release. So, or in the last release, which was Untamed. So, okay, this is not a 1-to-1 comparison then. I do like Quicks though, because now if I'm looking across all of the potential summoners I can use under the Dragon Splinter, he adds in something super nice. So here's where we're getting a ton of debuffs now, right? You have Camilla with the -1. That's kind of replacing Zintar in the modern format, but this is on Dragon, so across, has a lot more versatility. And now you're getting Quicksa Devious with the -1 range and the -1 speed. So, you can either choose to buff up the speed of your folks with Byzantine Kitty, or you can go -1 on their speed. And with folks like, do we have Dr. Blight in here? Yes. Okay. All right. We're going to do a deep dive into the rest of these, but with Dr. Blight at level 1, already reducing the speed and being a a legendary, relatively cheap monster for 4 mana and able to be used in a lot of different variables. I don't know. I feel like Dragon is going to have a nice advantage here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that again. We have +1 speed here, -1 speed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. Dragon is one that I've really enjoyed playing with recently. So this is going to be really cool. Again, I don't believe that it is going to be a starter card. So let's go ahead and remove those and just focus on these guys here. So this is your starter deck summoners, or these are your starter deck summoners moving forward. Again, the meta will change quite a bit, and we will have to dig into the monsters, which I'm going to do splinter by splinter in the next couple of videos. So let's move on to that. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your day. Let me know what you guys think of these summoners and if there are any that you are looking to grab and level up, whether that is the new ones, right? Or if you're saying, hey, you know what? All of a sudden, some of these older summoners have become more valuable. My opinion, not that anybody's asking, but in case you're curious, is that they're not. I feel like I'm going all in on these Chaos Legion summoners for reasons that I've given outside of the game meta. But now looking at the game meta and what we have to compare them to, Bortus might be the only one, right? Bortus might be the only one that I would look at and say he offers something really interesting and gives some kind of magic defense. And especially if you can use him with an Oshawnis or a Torhilo, for example, leveled up, that's going to be pretty cool, right? Because then you have that void built in. But I don't know, Wizards of Eastwood, kind of cool. I like Obsidian better. I like General Sloan better. And Thaddeus Brood coming in with that -1. Yeah, so I would say if I had to pick an untamed starter deck summoner over a Chaos Legion one, it might be Bortus. But that would be it. And at this point, I don't think I have any plans of buying a Bortus. So we'll see. All right, guys, I'll catch you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you around the game.